Love this podcast? Support this show through the Acast supporter feature. It's up to you how much you give, and there's no regular commitment. Just hit the link in the show description to support now.
Hey, sweetie, what do you think of our new car from Carvana?
Think it can handle our busy family?
Well, we have 7 days to see. First, we can take the scenic route to the beach and stargaze through the moonroof. We'll see if your drums fit in the trunk. Then we can pick up Mommy's friends and check out that legroom. And we should really visit Grandma. She's getting up there.
That's like a whole lifetime in 7 days.
And like one busy family.
With our 7-day money-back guarantee, you can confidently shop for cars 100% online. Visit Carvana.com for all terms and conditions. We'll drive you happy at Carvana.
Does he make the jump? We talk about how The Rock defied gravity in Skyscraper in this week's episode of Cognitive Recalibration. Hi everyone and welcome to the Cognitive Recalibration podcast. My name is Shravan. I've got our co-host Taran here with us.
Hey everyone.
This week we're going to be talking about one of our most anticipated movies of the year, Skyscraper, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Skyscraper main event. So we did we talk about it last time? Well, it's probably not in there, but we're both pretty excited to watch this movie.
Yes. So we've been excited to watch this movie for a while. Since we saw that first trailer when he jumps off the crane onto the building, or well, you see him jumping off and you don't know whether he makes the jump or not. We'll talk about all of that in spoilers. We were actually quite excited for this movie, and we're also going to get a guest for this review as well, but unfortunately he couldn't make it, and he knows who he is, if he's listening.
Yeah, so I watched this second day it came out, I think, because I was super excited.
Yeah, you watched it straight away. I wanted to go out and watch it first opening weekend, but I got caught up with a couple of other things, but I did end up watching it second weekend.
So it's been a while since I've seen it, so I don't remember it as well, but I'll try and do my best.
It's been about 4 days since I've seen it, so I probably remember it a little bit better than you, but I'll fill you in on anything that you might have forgot.
Has it been 2 weeks since I've seen this? Or
almost 2 weeks, yeah.
Almost 2 weeks.
Almost 2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah. This Saturday it would be 2 weeks.
So we'll start with non-spoilers as usual, and then we'll jump into spoilers after that. So going in, what were you expecting?
Okay, so I actually wanted this movie to be trash, but the good kind of trash. So the one where you kind of laugh at, Con Air style. I wanted to be the next Con Air.
Yeah, I was also expecting the same. I thought it'd be one of those rubbish action movies, but you can just have a good laugh. But it turns out that it wasn't quite that. It took itself more seriously than I expected it to. And it turns out that I can't even say it's a bad movie. It's entertaining. It has some suspenseful moments, but it didn't have enough of the crazy, over-the-top action that I thought it would. So I was expecting that, but I thought it was still good, and the action was gripping when it was happening.
It's still trashy at parts.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, and it does have stupid parts in it, but it's not as stupid as I kind of wanted it to be. It would have been better if Nick Cage played the lead, but, you get what you get.
I'm just imagining this movie with Nick Cage in it.
And it would be the best thing ever.
That's when, I think that's the difference. If The Rock was replaced with Nick Cage, this would become a so bad that it's good movie.
Yeah. If you put Nick Cage in any movie, it just becomes 10 times better.
Just do a find and replace on The Rock with Nick Cage, and then you'll get a fun action movie.
I'm trying to think of a movie where if you put Nick Cage in as the main character, it doesn't end up being the best movie ever. And I can't think of any movie that it wouldn't work. But anyway, what was the overall story here?
So the story is basically what you see in the trailer. So it starts off with The Rock. I think is he FBI or is something, right? What is he at the start?
I think he's FBI.
Or he's in the army or something.
Yeah.
But anyway, he loses his leg which you see in the trailer. And he comes to modern day. I think it's like 10 years ago or 8 years ago or something. I think it says...
when he loses his leg?
Yeah, like the first scene, it says 8 years ago or 10. It might have been 10 or 8 years ago.
Isn't this movie set in the future? Like the near future?
No, so it says, the first scene, it says, I'm pretty sure it says 10 years ago. So that first scene's in 2008. And then this is present day. This actually happens in present day. But it makes more sense if it's the future, because the skyscraper, which we'll get into in spoilers, is definitely very, very high tech and not something that you would see in modern day.
Yeah, 100%.
But anyway, he loses his leg and then he ends up he starts his own company and becomes like a security professional. Like he inspects the security of buildings and properties and it tells them whether it's secure enough. And he gets contracted to basically inspect the security of this major skyscraper, the tallest skyscraper in the world that's been built in Hong Kong. So him and his family move to Hong Kong. What happens after that is that building gets compromised. There's an attack. There's some terrorists that come in and they try to blow up that building for something that they want, which you find out later on. But it's up to The Rock then to stop the guys and save his family who are in the building. And then in between, he jumps off a crane trying to get into a building.
Which is kind of their main action set piece. So
I watched this with Kishore, who was a guest on our Incredibles 2 episode. And when that scene was about to come, we're like, here we go. This is what we're here for. I'll tell you how I felt about what happened in that scene in spoilers. So what did you think of the actors? So we have The Rock.
Yeah, The Rock is good.
We should probably call him his actual name, which is Dwayne Johnson. He's actually credited as Dwayne Johnson. He doesn't go by The Rock thing anymore.
He doesn't go by The Rock anymore. Anyway, The Rock, he was okay. It's not his best role. It's not his worst as well. He's pretty good. I wouldn't say he does anything amazing here. Nothing stand out, but he works well in the role.
He was good. It's not like his usual roles. In this movie, he's a little bit more vulnerable because he doesn't have one leg, I guess. But he's not like the invincible guy that we've seen in the other movies. He just takes down everyone. He does have his moments where he's a little bit... He shows that he's human in this movie.
It's a little bit more realistic, I guess. He's not like the Fast and Furious guy, where he breaks his cast open by flexing his bicep and then gets a Tommy gun and... Yeah, no, he's not that
But
guy.
I kind of wish he was a little bit for this movie.
It would have been better if he was like that, to be honest. I would have liked that
but
better.
they went the more realistic route.
Which is fair enough, but I didn't enjoy it that much.
And then there's his wife, Neve Campbell.
She was okay.
Basically, her character is an army... But yeah, she was good and she has a couple of action sequences as well. There is a whole cast of Chinese actors, I think, or like Hong Kong actors.
They're Chinese actors, yeah. I've seen... Do you know the police officer guy? I've seen him in something else. What else is he in? And it's also got that guy from The Dark Knight. Asian dude from The Dark Knight who steals money from all the guys. And then the Joker kills him. That's his name on Wikipedia.
So his name is Chin Han?
Is that the Dark Knight guy?
Yeah, the Dark Knight guy, Chin Han.
Yeah, so he's the guy that builds the building.
Yep, so he's the owner of the building who builds it.
The architect,
I
guess.
Architect.
Yeah.
Well, he's not really. I think he's just a businessman who put...
No, isn't he the architect? I thought he was the architect.
He might be. I just thought he was just a rich businessman that put money into building the skyscraper. He could also be an architect. There is...
And who's the police officer guy?
The police officer guy is... His name is Byron Mann. He's a Hong Kong-born American actor. He's in The Big Short. He is in the Street Fighter movie. What else is he in? He's...
Anything that I would have seen?
Not really.
What about his TV?
TV. He's in Altered Carbon.
Oh, yeah, that's what I've seen him in. Yeah, Altered Carbon.
He's in NCIS Los Angeles.
I haven't seen that, but...
He's in CSI Cyber.
What the hell is that? No, I haven't seen that.
He's in Hawaii Five-0.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Who is he in Hawaii Five-0?
I think he's only in one episode.
Oh, okay.
He's in Arrow.
Oh, really? Which season?
A recurring role, and he's in 11 episodes between 2012 and 2017.
I think it's in the earlier seasons. Yeah, I kind of remember him. So he's done quite a bit of stuff. He looks really familiar.
He's in Smallville as well, back in the day.
Back in the day. He was alright, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was not bad. And he also had a deputy. I think she was also a famous Hong Kong or Chinese actor.
Do you reckon they just got these people in to sell this movie better in China?
Definitely. 100%. Because they would have, if this was a normal movie, that Skyscraper would have been in America. And it would have just been a fully American cast. But they're like, we need to tap into the Chinese market. So we're going to put it in Hong Kong. Half the cast is going to be Chinese. And it's going to go gangbusters when we release it in Hong Kong. Or in China.
There's nothing specifically in here that it has to be set in Hong Kong. It could be set in America, and it would still be the same story. But they obviously just did it to tap into that market.
And apparently, at the moment, it's a curfew in China. You can't release Hollywood movies. You can only release... It's like their peak Chinese movie season. So only Chinese movies release. But this movie got permission to release.
Okay.
This was the only one that, because Ant-Man and the Wasp, all of that had to skip this whole month, and they're only releasing like next month.
How did this go in China? Because I heard it went shit everywhere else.
I think it did okay. The current box office is 186 million worldwide. It only did 40 million opening weekend I think it did even less in America.
It did do great in America.
Most of that money is probably from China, but the budget was 129 million.
I think it's going to be categorized as a flop. It's probably going to make back its budget, but it won't be great.
I think that's what's going to happen. I think it also released at a really weird time. Maybe people just weren't that interested in. I reckon if this released in a really off month, people would have watched this because they wouldn't have had anything else to watch, so they would have watched this.
There's probably not going to be a Skyscraper 2 at this point, unless it does crazy well in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I don't think there will be. So I think it's also produced by Dwayne Johnson. Yeah,
I think
he's one of the producers as well. Yeah. So who else was in the cast? There was
the two kids.
The two kids, yeah, they were okay.
They were okay.
They were fine. And then there was the main antagonist.
Yeah, he's a bit useless, isn't he?
So he's Scandinavian, I think they say.
Or was it Russian?
There's a part where they say he's Scandinavian, but it could be anything. I couldn't tell from his accent.
Yeah, I couldn't tell. It's very generic villain. There's not much there. And those are about all the characters, I think. There's this guy who's his friend at the start who betrays him. It's a bit stupid. Yeah.
Well, we probably shouldn't say that, but there's a friend character.
Oh, oops. Spoilers. You can see it coming from a mile away.
But anyway, there's a couple of other supporting cast members that get a bit of screen time, but overall it's really just The Rock. Let's be honest, everyone's just here for The Rock. If he wasn't in it, no one would be watching this. And it wouldn't be worth 129 million either. What's
his name? Who's that guy from John Carter?
Oh, that guy. Yeah, that guy.
If that guy was in this movie, no one would have watched it.
Probably not. They would have actively not watched it. They would have chose not to watch it. There is actually a lot of special effects in this movie, and since it's a $129 movie, $29 million movie.
$129. Yeah. They're really budgeting
well.
Yeah, I
know. They got some cheap CGI.
Yeah. They made little 5-year-old Asian kids do it.
$129 million movie. It looks pretty good, I reckon. For the kind of movie this is, I think it looks better than it probably deserves.
The Skyscraper looks sick.
Yeah, the Skyscraper does look very good.
This movie borrows off a lot of other movies. It feels like a bunch of movies put together.
We can talk about all the similarities to other movies in spoilers. It's weird because I thought I'd have a good time for another reason, but I ended up having a good time because it was actually not a bad movie in the end.
When I first watched it, I really enjoyed it, but the more I think about it, I would have had a better time if it wasn't so much of a copy of other movies. If I hadn't seen those other movies and I went into this, I would have loved it a lot more, but it was still a good time. I still had a good time.
Is there anything else we want to say before we give our ratings?
The Nick Cage cameo was alright. Other than that, no, nothing. Was there an end credit scene?
I didn't stay. I don't think there would be, though. I wouldn't say there was anything that I didn't see coming in the movie.
Nah, everything is pretty much by the numbers. But the action scenes actually have a bit of tension.
They do, yeah.
There's a bit of tension. I felt
this reminded me of like a Liam Neeson movie. Have you seen The Commuter?
Yeah, I've seen it. Did we watch it together?
No.
Oh, no, we didn't. Nah, I watched it by myself. Yeah.
But it's similar feel to that. Like, that's not a great movie, but it has moments where the action is pretty gripping. This was similar to that.
In spoilers, I'll talk about which movies I feel this is, and it's direct copies of some of those movies. And people already know this. It's like a Die Hard type movie, because they leaned into that, and there's like Die Hard posters and stuff, but it copies off other movies as well, and it tries to be Die Hard quite a bit.
But overall, I had a good time. My rating is probably casually watch it whenever it's available for streaming. It's not something you'd go out of your way to watch, but if you don't have anything to watch and you've got some friends over, it's not a bad movie to just pop on.
The visual effects are really nice to watch in a theatre, I would say, but look, who's going to go to the theatre for visual effects these days? Every movie has pretty good visual effects.
It's not something that you'd have to go out of your way to watch at the cinema, that's for sure.
Back in the day when Avatar came out, everyone's like, oh, you got to go to the theatre and watch this visual effects. No one gives a shit about that anymore. Yeah, I'll give it 32.8.
32.8. So, I've been listening to some of our previous episodes, and when you give your ratings, we should probably give a disclaimer, because people will just be very confused. Because some episodes we do say it, some episodes we don't. So Tyrone just gives a number every week, but we don't know what it's out of. So it's up to your interpretation.
I feel like the viewers need to find that out for themselves. So they'll like watch the episodes and they'll be like listening to all these numbers I give. They'll be like, why the fuck does this guy just keep saying random numbers? And then they'll go back and listen to that first episode and be like, oh, he's just a fucked guy. He's just crazy.
But they're going to have to go back 10 episodes to do that.
Yeah,
so I'm going to save them some time this time and tell you that it's just a number that he gives every week and it's not out of anything.
Well, that's for them to find out.
We'll jump straight into spoilers. So if you haven't seen Skyscraper, don't listen from this point onwards. Or if you don't care about spoilers, keep listening.
Who the hell cares about Skyscraper spoilers? They know what's going to happen. They know what's going to happen.
I guess we'll go in order. So basically, what you mentioned in non-spoilers when you should have probably saved spoilers is that his friend is basically betraying him from the beginning. But I saw it because it's so obvious because they show his face, right, and he's like giving all these sneaky looks. He's like looking at his phone and he's like, he looks a bit anxious. Like this guy's up to something.
How many movies have we seen in a row when there's been the obvious villain change now? It's like 6 weeks in a row.
Well, this guy's not really he's not really a villain. Like, he doesn't want to hurt him. Because they plan so that his family's not in the building. And he's not there either. And it just so happens that it all happens. But he wasn't, like, planning to kill him from the beginning. But then, obviously, he gets pushed to do that.
He ends up pulling a gun on him and trying to kill him. So.
Then he gets into a fight with him and he gets absolutely owned.
And he shoots himself, yeah. But anyway, saw it from a mile away.
Actually, when he was introduced, I thought he might be legit. But then the moment they have that board meeting and he's presenting his analysis and the camera keeps switching back to him and he's just giving these sneaky looks. Like, what's up with this guy?
The moment they showed him and they showed all the scars on his neck, I'm like, yeah, he's fucked. He's angry. He's angry.
I guess they tried to add a bit of depth to his character because they were both part of that same team that went into that house where it got blown up and Rock lost his leg. But this guy, he's still got all his body. He's just got some scars.
He's just got scars on his neck. But he's like,
after that, like his life just got like so much worse and he had to like deal with these terrorists and stuff to make a living, whereas The Rock ends up marrying this surgeon and
okay, but look, The Rock lost a limb. This guy just has some scars on his neck. How did his life go down so much? But The Rock,
how did it go downhill so much, whereas The Rock's without a leg, he did much better.
Well, it's probably because he's a shit person.
Okay, so that guy dies there. I guess, he shoots himself. He tries to shoot The Rock and then He shoots himself and he dies. And then he reveals to the Rock that his family shouldn't have been in the building. So his family shouldn't have been in the building because they planned so that his family shouldn't be in the building. But his son gets sick or something, so they have to come back.
Oops. Convenient sickness by the son to make the plot go. Otherwise, there wouldn't be a movie.
Because if he just didn't get sick and he just had fun with the pandas,
then they'll be all good. They would have had a fun day. Good. Fun day with the pandas.
And if Rock didn't put the iPad into his pocket, if he just left it in the bag, all good.
Nah, the family still would have been there.
Nah, as in if both didn't happen, but...
Oh, yeah. No, but if he didn't have the iPad, then the place would have still got set on fire.
Yeah, but his family wouldn't be in there, so he just wouldn't care.
Okay. Yeah.
Because the only reason he goes back is for his family. Yeah. I guess if the iPad does get stolen, then he'd be the prime suspect, because he's the only one that has access to the iPad.
Yeah, they would have thought it was him.
They would have thought it was him.
Which is why the guy set him up.
So from then on, it's basically trying to get into the building, trying to save his family, and that's the rest of the movie, more or less. So his family come back, and then the building's set on fire. It's funny because it's got like the best fire prevention systems in the world or something. So the owner, he lives in the penthouse right at the top of the building. He's like, "No, don't worry, we can just stay in here. It should be fine." And then suddenly all the fire prevention systems go offline, and it's like, "Oh, I guess we should go then."
Yeah. Look, even if your building is on fire and you fully believe in the fire prevention system, still leave the building. You don't stay in a burning building just because you believe in the fire prevention system.
And then so in the board meeting, there's
another guy that freaking turns bad.
Yeah, there's another guy that turns bad. Away. And in the trailer, I don't think this dialogue was in the movie, but in the trailer, he's the guy who's like, it's like, to be honest, sir, he's just a glorified security guard. Remember that?
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
In the trailer, but I don't think it's in the movie. But it's that guy that says that. He ends up turning bad. Well, he's bad the whole time, and he's just there to lead them in. Well, not leaving that building. So it turns out the bad guys or the terrorists are in it because
they want to get this drive.
They want to get this USB that has all the information about their criminal network, which this guy acquired because he had to pay them to get permission to build the skyscraper.
It's stupid. It's just a plot device so that they can burn the skyscraper.
So basically, he had to bribe them or something to get permission to build this skyscraper, and in return, or like as security for in case they demand something from him, he gets their whole history of their criminal network and all the transactions and everyone involved on this USB. And they come to know about it, and that's why they invade the skyscraper and try to burn it down so that they can get the USB from him.
It doesn't matter. It's like it's just a plot device. For the whole movie, it doesn't have any like consequences. The USB, I guess, it's just the people want it.
Just they want it. And the other thing is, they do like a little tour of the penthouse, and there's this dome or this pearl. It's called a pearl. So the skyscraper is called the pearl, and there's a pearl on top of it. So there's a little ball on top of it, and
he shows the Rock the inside of it, and he shows all these features. And I'm like, oh yeah, he just showed it to him, so that's never going to come back, is it? It's obviously going to come back later in the story.
That's why they show
Otherwise,
it.
Why the fuck would he be showing him all this shit?
So what is in the pearl is... It's just this most ridiculous thing. It's like, it's going to be the biggest tourist attraction in the world. It's like 1,000 LCD panels that show a reflection of yourself. And you walk through it, and it's just a reflection of yourself in like 10,000 different screens.
It's the stupidest plot device. And it's like, why would people want to see this? Like, who would be like, yeah, I want to see...
Why does that need to be on top of the tallest building in the world? Like, there's no reason for that to be on top of the tallest building in the world.
The other feature's kind of cool, though.
Okay, so the other feature is it gives you the impression that you're floating on top of the building. So, like, all the screens reflect what's outside. So you're basically standing in midair and you're looking around Hong Kong.
That's pretty cool.
I guess that is that would be a good tourist attraction. But then again, that still doesn't need to be on top of the building. It could just be a room at, on the bottom floor, and you'd still get the same impact. That whole thing is just a plot device for the climax, because they're obviously going to end up in there, and the bad guy doesn't know how things work, and that's how that leads to his demise.
Yeah, it's so stupid. As soon as he showed it to him, I'm like, oh my god, when's this going to come back?
And to be honest, Rock doesn't know how it works either. Like, until the very end, he's still confused about the whole mirrors and...
No, he figures it out. He's on top of it. He was on top of it the whole time.
Anyway, so from the part where he finds out that his family's in the building and the building's on fire, he gets to the building, so he drives through, and basically it's cordoned off, and there's people watching the building on fire for 4 hours of the movie. They're just all standing there watching it. All of them just stand there watching it, and they're cheering when he does stuff. You don't know who this guy is. He could be a serial killer. He could be going in there to kill everyone. But he's fine. When he jumps onto the building, everyone starts cheering. I'm like, why are you cheering? You don't know who this guy is. Because they watched him get onto the crane and climb up and then jump off the crane.
Yeah, but he could be anyone. He could be a serial killer. They don't know who he is, but they're cheering for him.
Yeah, but he jumped off the crane. It was pretty cool. So they're on board.
No, but
they're on board now.
The police were up. If some guy was running away from the police and he got away from the police, do people start cheering? Is that what they do? Because apparently in Hong Kong, that's what they do.
Well, we've been to Hong Kong and we didn't really see that. Yeah, if you're from Hong Kong, let us know if that's what you do. But anyway, we'll talk about the jump. So he gets on top of the crane. He climbs the crane because firstly the gate that goes to the elevator is locked. So he has to climb up the whole crane, which he does, obviously, because you see it in the trailer. So the whole thing about this movie, every poster, all the trailers were, does he make that jump? And he obviously does, because...
He makes the jump. I know you're shocked.
Yeah.
I know you didn't expect it.
Yeah. Sorry to break it to you guys, but he makes it.
Yeah.
And in the movie, it's nowhere near as crazy as it looks in the trailers. It actually looks almost doable in the movie. Because the crane is actually not that far from the building, and he has a pretty long run up.
Jump.
So I guess the only unbelievable thing about it is he's one-legged and he's not actually running that fast. But if he was a normal guy, I reckon you could make that jump.
Easy. It's not that hard of a jump. But how funny would it be if he didn't make the jump? He just dies. He just falls down the building and dies. And then it's the end. That would be a good movie.
So he makes the jump, and then he goes through a series of...
This is kind of where it gets really die-hard.
Yeah, so there's a series of different things he has to do, because the building has a lot of different contraptions. So it's, for some reason, it's got these... I think it's wind powered or something. I think it's an environmentally friendly building. So it's got these turbines in the middle of the building. And one of the plot devices is that, for some reason, the penthouse, the only way you can open the penthouse room is if you climb out of the building, go to these turbines that are turning around, and jump through the turbines, go to this little...
Press a button.
And then you have to cut a wire, and then the penthouse door opens.
Yeah, and it's stupid. It's stupid. No one would do that. But the way he gets there, direct copy of that scene from Ghost Protocol.
Oh, yeah.
You remember the scene on the Burj Khalifa?
Yeah.
Instead of the high-tech stuff in Ghost Protocol, he has sticky
rope.
tape over his hands. And he has a rope, sticky tape. But exactly the same as that scene. And then getting back as well, how he has the rope. Do you know how he does that in Ghost Protocol, and he runs across with the rope?
Yeah.
Exactly the same. Yeah.
It is quite similar. But in this, I guess there's the added dimension of him not having one leg. So that plays into it, because the rope catches onto his...
The leg's going to slip off.
Yeah, catches onto his prosthetic leg, and it slips off, and then he has to use that to get back up. And
They did it better in Ghost Protocol than this, though.
And Tom Cruise... Obviously, he did it himself, so...
It was better in that. It's okay in this. And also, throughout the whole thing, he talks to himself.
I'm just thinking, if I was in that situation, would I talk to myself? Probably not. I mean, I'd talk to myself in my head, but not out loud.
Yeah. So, once again, copying Die Hard, because John McClane talks to himself for the whole time. So, yeah, they did a lot of that. And it seemed like they just wanted to copy Die Hard and be Die Hard.
And there's a lot of duct tape in this movie. Yeah,
do you know how John McClane uses the duct tape as well? I think it may be a reference.
Oh, okay.
Because at the end of the movie, he duct tapes the gun to his back, and then he shoots the guy. And in this, he keeps saying, there's nothing duct tape can't solve. So it's like, is it like a reference to Die Hard? Or, I'm thinking it's a reference.
Yeah, but there's a lot of duct tape. He uses it in the middle and at the end as well.
What's he use it for at the end?
He uses it at the end to duct tape the guy's hands together.
Oh, yep. But he uses it to do his wound in the middle, doesn't he?
It's like, and he says something, is like, if duct tape doesn't solve it, use more duct tape.
And also the way the villain dies in this movie, exactly the same as the way the villain dies in Die Hard. Falls off the building and explodes. There's lots of similarities to Die Hard especially, and a bit of Ghost Protocol in there.
Apparently there's a movie called Towering Inferno that's very similar to this as well, but I haven't seen it. I was also going to mention one of the henchwomen.
Oh yeah, Ruby Rose.
Ruby Rose?
Ruby
Who's
Rose.
Ruby Rose?
No, it wasn't Ruby Rose. It's like an Asian chick.
Yeah.
No, she looks like Ruby Rose.
Who's Ruby Rose?
She's this Australian actor that looks like her.
But this lady is also Australian. She's Taiwanese Australian.
Oh, really? Yeah. She looks like Ruby Rose, but she's Asian. Yeah.
But yeah, basically she has some action scenes as well. And
yeah, she's not bad.
She's not bad. She has one with Neve Campbell at the very end in the car.
Yeah, and she kicks her in the face. She doesn't kill her. She just kicks her.
Kicks her in the face. Yeah.
Yeah, she was all right. There's a lot to like about the movie, but it does copy from a lot of other movies, is what I can say.
But yeah, I had a good time. Did you like this better than Hotel Transylvania 3?
Yeah, I did. 100%. I didn't like Hotel Transylvania 3.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see what's at the bottom of the pile. I think I also like this better than Hotel Transylvania 3. Like,
probably at the bottom is Hotel Transylvania 3.
So far, I think so.
But to be honest, that wasn't even
that bad.
We need to watch some worse movies. Otherwise, the top 10 worst list is going to be hard.
Yeah, I think worse is going to be hard. Because there's not that many movies from here till the end of the year either.
Yeah, we've got to watch some shit movies. I thought this would make it, but unfortunately this is not going to be in the top 10 best either. It'll just be
middle ground. But yeah, we both had a good time. We don't necessarily recommend it, like, go out and go watch it right now, but it's worth a watch at some stage, just for fun.
It would be good to watch with mates, I reckon.
It'd be a good movie to watch with a couple of friends. I guess that's it, right? In terms of anything else you want to mention?
There's not much to talk about. It's just it's an alright movie. I can see people who've seen Ghost Protocol and Die Hard finding this very boring, just because it's quite similar. But if you haven't seen Die Hard or Ghost Protocol, boy, will you be in for a good time. Because this blends both of those movies together. So
I guess that's it in terms of this episode. So next week we will have. Well, it won't be next week. It'll be very soon after you get this episode, most likely, because we're running a bit behind on our episodes. Firstly, because we had that technical issue with the Ant-Man episode, and secondly, because we've just had some issues getting our podcast edited on time. But we should be back to our normal weekly schedule after the San Diego Comic-Con episode, which is our next episode. So we're going to be talking...
It's actually already happened.
It's already happened.
We already know everything.
We're talking on a Thursday, and it's been 4 days since it ended. So we'll be doing just our thoughts on everything that... Well, not everything, but all the important things that happen in San Diego Comic-Con.
I think we should do an hour review of Johnny Depp on stage for Fantastic Beasts.
Anyway, we'll talk about that in the actual episode, but that really flew under the radar because not many people are talking about that.
More people need to be talking about that.
But yeah, we'll have all the trailer reviews, all the news that came out of San Diego Comic-Con 2018.
I'm excited. Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp's the new Nick Cage.
He probably is, but I like Nick Cage better.
Oh, yeah. Johnny Depp's a dick.
Yeah.
So.
And Nick Cage is actually funny, even though he doesn't try to be funny, but he's just funny.
But he is, yeah.
Johnny Depp is just not
Johnny
funny.
Depp's just...
he's just...
Yeah, he's just... Yeah, don't enjoy him. Not a fan at all.
And the other thing I was going to mention is, you probably would have seen the second trailer for Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald. I still don't know why it's called that, because it's got nothing to do with Fantastic Beasts anymore, so... They
messed up with the first title, but they're leading into it. They're just like, yeah, we messed up, but let's
next time they'll probably just get rid of that. It'll just be something else. But I was going to say, we will do a series of Harry Potter episodes, and if you guys let us know how much detail you want. So we could do an episode on each movie, which will mean you will get 9 episodes, including Fantastic Beasts.
Oh, okay, including Fantastic Beasts. Yep.
Or we could split it up, so we do like 2 movies every episode.
Yeah.
And we can just lead into the next Fantastic Beasts movie. So that's what we're planning to do for the episodes that we don't have any movie reviews, because there's a couple of weeks where we don't have.
It's going to be a bit bare going forward, I reckon, because summer's nearly finished. There's only one more movie that I'm really looking forward to, I think.
And then after that, there's a bit of a dry patch, and then we're back into some movies. So let us know what you think. Just send us a tweet or an email or comment on our Facebook page. And Taran will now tell you how you can do all of those.
Yeah, so emails at cognitiverecalibrationpodcast@gmail.com, and then on Instagram and Facebook at Cognitive Recalibration, and at Twitter at Seed Recalibration.
And we're finally on Spotify now. So now you can find us on iHeartRadio, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and Spotify. So
the big 4.
We're finally on that. So I know a lot of people have been waiting for us to get onto Spotify. So now we're on there. I guess that's it for the week. We'll see you in the next episode where we'll talk about San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
See you next week.
See you later. Bye.